But if the pressure is so high because the mitochondria are not making ATP, then there's nowhere to flow, right? And the resistance is too high. This is when, you could see this, you inject the substrate from mitochondria, the electrons are going through, but then there's nowhere to go because there's no ATP synthesis. Then now the mitochondria, spit out reactive oxygen species at very high rates. And then within seconds, if you inject ADP, right? You inject ADP into the cuvette. Now what happens is the ATP synthase start to turn, and then the proton gradient is dissipated, and now the electrons start to flow freely. And you could see right away the rate of reactive oxygen species production drops by at least an order of magnitude. This is dramatic, right? So the rate of flux here is not the driver for reactive oxygen species, it's the resistance. It's the energy resistance that drives the backflow of electrons, or the ectopic jump of electrons onto oxygen to create reactive oxygen species. So it's
basically also coupled to flux, right? Like if you're not able to flux electrons properly, energy resistance goes up. And so like the normal, like what you said, Nick, the normal physiology of flow, if it's not met, then if everything is flowing well, you should have no reactive oxygen species. But if there is some backflow or back propagation, but flow, then ER goes up and you get more ROS.
Yeah, and that's why during hypoxia, it's just kind of a little counterintuitive. Hypoxia, low oxygen, yet you get more reactive oxygen species. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah. Well, so less flow.
Less flow, exactly.
Yeah, the flow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because oxygen is the ultimate acceptor, right? It's what allows the flow. It's like the final destination for electrons, for flowing electrons. So and the kinetics and kind of the affinity is such that if you decrease ambient oxygen and partial pressure of oxygen inside a mitochondrion, complex 4 is going to be more sensitive to it, and then the resistance in the system is going to increase, and then the electrons are going to experience more resistance, and then they're going to backflow, and they're going to find even if there's less oxygen, they're going to find it to create reactive oxygen species. So that's why hypoxia leads to more ROS because of increased energy resistance. And then to close the loop on your question about chronic physical activity or exercise, what happens is cells make more mitochondria. Kind of one of the first adaptation to chronic endurance exercise is the cells will make more of those parallel channels for electrons to flow towards oxygen. So mitochondrial biogenesis. And then outside the cells will secrete cytokines to produce more capillaries, right? Why do you need more capillaries with exercise? Because you need to bring oxygen and food substrates to you make more mitochondria, you need to feed them. So then angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels around the working muscles happen.
Increases flux, increases energy resistance.
Yeah. So more mitochondria, more capillaries to feed them. And then there's also central adaptation, like hematocrit might increase. You make more red blood cells, especially if you train at altitude. And then there are cardiac adaptations and cardiovascular adaptations. And then eventually central adaptations where you start to enjoy and have confidence in your ability to dissipate energy resistance. So then it's no longer a really adverse thing that you feel energy resistance and it's the worst thing, because you can overcome it. You can create energy resistance in your body by running or by lifting or whatever. And then that when you stop, then your cardiovascular system, your breath, and your mitochondria can take care of decreasing that energy resistance. And that happens, multi-level. There's psychological adaptations, behavioral adaptations,